Let's speak to Erol Morkoc, who's from Republicans Overseas, because this morning you might have awoken to the rather surprising news that Joe Biden, who said he would never pardon his own son Hunter, has turned out that he has now pardoned his own son Hunter. Let's see what he said to ABC News 5 months ago.
As we sit here in Normandy, your son Hunter is on trial, and I know that you cannot speak about an ongoing federal prosecution. But let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
Sorry, that's ruled out a pardon, which normally would mean you're not going to pardon him. He now has pardoned him, so I'm not quite sure how that works. Let's find out from Erol what he makes of it all. Erol, very good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
So, I guess Keir Starmer isn't the only one who says one thing and means the complete opposite. We've got Joe Biden here just 5 months ago, and he said it on a variety of outlets as well. It wasn't just a one-off, that he would not seek to pardon his son. What's changed?
Well, I don't think anything's actually changed. Joe Biden is a liar. That's what he's always been. I'm not shocked by this at all. And then on a personal note, I mean, if you think about it, if it is your son and you have the magic pen to sort of wield it. Now, in this case, it's a little bit extreme because he's excused any crimes he's committed against the United States starting in 2014. So, I mean, I think it was 3 or 4 months after that, January 1st, is when he got that job at Burisma in the Ukraine. So it seems like it's a very convenient time block, 11 years of crime, completely absolved without any specifics as to which crimes, just all crimes.
Just everything, yeah.
Yeah, but what do you expect? I mean, this is the last grift before they do their presidential library, and Hunter Biden gets made head of library directors for $600,000 a year, and that's just the way this is going to go. It's always been how it's going to go. They're a lying, corrupt, grifting family. They sold access to his position of power. Everybody can see it. There was no other family business, and there's none after. So why not pardon themselves on the way out? Because if you pardon all the people who committed the crimes that allegedly funneled money to you, then you need not pardon yourself because no one will be coming for you. At least that's what Joe Biden thinks.
And these are like proper crimes as opposed to the crimes that Donald Trump's been sort of being chased around the country for, you know? The crime that he was supposedly found guilty of in New York, which was basically an accounting situation, which was 1 count rather than 70-odd counts, you know? That appears to have been put on the back burner. But these are proper crimes, and these are, you know, proper large amounts of money being siphoned off and being used for nefarious purposes and all sorts of other stuff. And as you say, you can't just pardon somebody for everything, can you? Has it ever happened before?
In such a brazen way, no. There have been sort of blanket pardons for crimes across a period of time that have happened, but it's usually been sort of a criminal aspect to it that was consistent in one way. In this case, you have Hunter Biden, everything from money laundering to illegal weapons possession, dumping a gun in a public space, use of, you know, very extreme drugs, unknown companions, photographs with very suspicious photographs. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And I think that all of that combined, it goes far beyond anything we've ever seen before in a presidential pardon, or even almost like in a historical level of like some king pardoning somebody. Oh yeah, that last decade of crime against the empire. Fear not, you are absolved.
Yes.
It's never been done before, I don't think. I could be wrong, but I can't imagine one.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically saying that he believes his son was treated differently because of his status. That means because of Joe Biden's status. It doesn't appear that does not appear to be the case at all. He's now getting pardoned as a result of his father's status, I would suggest.
He was also going to get a sweetheart deal a year ago that was going to basically absolve him of all of his crimes anyway. So, I mean, Joe Biden is correct in some respect that his son, who was involved in the family grift and the Joe Biden crime family, certainly was connected by name, but it wasn't for lack of evidence or lack of crime. And I think that needs to be front and center. Hunter Biden got away with everything besides murder, it looks like. And in some respects, it's the ultimate in white privilege that your dad pardons you on the way out for all of your crimes.
Yeah, well, exactly right. Let's have a look at what White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre had to say.
to go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Well, is there?
I just said no.
She doesn't like being asked questions, which is unusual for a press secretary because that's her job, basically. But she's always grumpy, and she just goes, "Nope, let's move on." Well, it turns out that's not true.
Well, it's the I think it's about the same philosophy they had with Iran. Don't. Well, that didn't get anything done.
Yeah.
It ended up just being useless. Useless phrases. No. They say no with such force, like
Yes.
they're in some sort of drama school acting class, like practicing saying no. It means nothing to them.
Right.
The words mean nothing to them, and they'll sell their grandmother for a nickel. These are craven, dishonest people, and they've demonstrated it all the way to the very end.
The worst thing, of course, is that there's still about a month to go until January 6th, until the official handover of power to Donald Trump. You know, what else is he going to come up with? I was saying earlier, he's sold landmines now to Ukraine. He's given them permission to send missiles into Russia. He's done a deal with Hezbollah through the proxies in Lebanon. And now he's pardoned his own son, who's a criminal. What's next? You know, what's he going to do this week?
I mean, it's really just a wait and see game with President Biden. He's basically trying to leave as many pitfalls in the wake that he can. I remember when the biggest crime was they removed the W's from the keyboard when George W. Bush got inaugurated. There was like some lighthearted ribbing. Now this is like national security stuff. I think the next thing for Joe Biden's agenda is to go to Angola, which might be a positive thing, something he can do there to help bolster our presence and blunt Chinese influence. So maybe if we can get him occupied with some of these things, he can keep his hands off the triggers, because he's done nothing but give President Trump more of a headache. But I think President Trump's up to this challenge. He hasn't left an insurmountable challenge. It's just more of the same, more escalation, and kind of leaving with his tail tucked between his legs.
Yes, well, we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed he doesn't do anything seriously dangerous, but you never know. Erol Morkoc, thank you very much indeed, from Republicans Overseas.